Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. This week we went and watched the movie Borderlands. It is based, I don't want to say based off of the video game. It's I suppose, a adaptation of the video game. It has an original plot, but then again, all the plots to Borderlands are the same thing. Find the vault and open it and get the treasure inside of it. With that being said, this movie was quite lackluster besides the few Easter eggs from the video game. But that's about it. Not much to be said about it. Not a great plot. I wasn't a big fan of the acting either. The script was mediocre. It was just all in all pretty disappointing, but that's kind of what I expect from a movie based off of a video game. There's not that many out there that are actually successful, and are very good plot wise. So, with that being said, I'm giving this a 2 out of 10. I know neither of you have know anything about the Borderlands series, correct?
No, I do not. I don't know if Andrew
Nothing.
has.
Okay. Well, then I suppose I'll explain it after you two go through and give your review a little bit more.
Okay. Andrew, maybe you.
You can go, Payson.
The plot wasn't that great. The I wouldn't say the CGI was horrible. I wouldn't say the cinematography was bad either. I wouldn't say the score was horrible, but it didn't really bring anything to the forefront on any of those things. The acting, um, I don't know if it was the writing or the acting or a combination of both, but it felt bland. Characters that I liked got little to no screen time. The characters that I wish didn't get as much, that I didn't care to like at all, got way too much of it. The main character, Lilith, I couldn't have cared more about. However, Kevin Hart's character, I think Roland was his name. That intrigued me with him being an ex-soldier taking care of a girl that turned out to be a clone for a prophecy. And then also this Krieg guy intrigued me because he was a psychopath that just fell in love with like sort of like a older brother figure for this little girl that had essentially been tortured her whole life. That was intriguing, and all that got put to the side for this character Lilith and this prophecy that I couldn't have given a darn about. Kate Blanchett's character is, I don't know how old she is supposed to be, but the
Lilith is supposed to be, actually, I'm not really sure. I'm
because
supposing early 30s.
I would think early 30s based on
I'm
how like
pretty
they were
sure
kind of
she's kind of
right.
roughly supposed to be early 30s.
Yeah, well, the lady that is acting as her is 50 and she looks 50,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it just did not look well considering that the actress that's supposed to be like a somewhat motherly figure for her is only 10 years older. So it just did not, that had me hard to believe a lot of that stuff. The character that supposedly knew her mom looked to be about the same age as the character that was playing the daughter that didn't ever see it. A lot of that stuff just kind of threw me out of the movie. I didn't really like Lilith's character at all. It just came across the writing for that character just came across as stale. There was really nothing that you could care to like about that character. And that might have changed. That maybe you would have grown to like that character as they were kind of going for that scoundrel like character with her until they did that whole thing, which I knew it as soon as they found the second piece that she was going to be the prophesied one or whatever and not Tina. And that, I don't know why, but that made me care a lot less just because it felt like, okay, what's the point to some degree? So, and I get they were kind of going for a shock factor, but it just felt more eye rolling and aggravating than anything else. I did like Kevin Hart and I did like Jack Black for I like their quips. I think they did a decent job on their like when they had quips and stuff, but um most of this felt phoned in by most of the actors, like they were just there to get a paycheck and nothing more. So yeah, I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. It had stuff that could have gone well. Um Stuff that could
The
have been done
credits.
well. What?
The credits.
Yeah, that bit was funny. The end bit with Jack Black. And like I said before, there are bits where there is humor there, but it's
Well, the epitome baseline of Borderlands is just supposed to be humorous gunslinging.
yeah, and
That's pretty much the baseline. So it was supposed to be funny, but at the same time, it didn't really
it wasn't near as
meet
fun.
that.
It wasn't
Yeah,
near as fun.
no. They were supposed to, Borderlands is plays off of a lot of quips, and it didn't really do that. They tried to add too many quips from the games into the movie, and it didn't really flow together, I feel like, at all.
Okay. But yeah, a lot of this just did not work. Did not work well. And yeah, 4 out of 10 for me. I don't want to see this movie again.
Based on what I've heard of it, I didn't want to see it in the first place.
Hey, look,
It intrigued
I've
me
watched it.
because I was
I
like,
was
there's
gonna watch
no
this movie.
way with
No, I already knew it was gonna be pretty bad. Like, after we finish the review, we can do like, I think the best way to get an idea of these characters are when they're introduced in the game for the first time, they have a little kind of cameo and it depicts that character perfectly, and we can do that for like each one of the main characters, Roland, Craig, Lilith, and Tina. They chose honestly some of the best characters out of the three games. Um, but it was kind of disappointing. Andrew, what about you?
This has been one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. It was a
worse than the
very
room.
well made worst movie. No, because the room is a masterpiece.
Oh Lord.
Exactly.
The room is a piece of art.
It is. It's a different type of bad or good, however you want to put it in words.
Like, who greenlit this? The thing is, it's a bad movie that's made so well. Like the costumes, the CGI, like it
Hmm.
looked really good. But everything else about it was just not good. The
Yeah.
dialogue, maybe it was supposed to sound cheesy and quippy. It was just cringy and lame.
Hmm.
I didn't want to see as much as she is a prestigious actress. I didn't want to see Jamie Lee Curtis cleavage. I just why was Kevin Hart in this movie? Why was most of them in this movie? Most of the characters were painful. The best characters didn't get the screen time that they could have to lift the movie up.
Yeah.
Roland Krieg, the only character that I enjoyed on the screen as much as he was Claptrap, because at times he was genuinely funny and I liked his
Like,
sarcasm.
Yeah.
the only reason I'll give it to Krieg only has a handful of lines. He doesn't speak. He speaks in riddles.
He didn't really
Well,
speak at all.
not really riddles. I think one of my favorite lines, and I hope I don't mess it up, is I'll rip out your spine and make it into a bicycle. And those are the lines he where I'll ride you like a
Uh,
meat bicycle. So those are the type of lines he is. He's a psychopath.
Hmm.
That's what the character is supposed
Lovely.
to be. So he does random out of pocket lines, and that's it.
And that wasn't at
Um,
all used in the movie except maybe once.
Yeah,
yeah, the
I mean,
whole movie was filled with cliches. It was super predictable,
it
even as
was
someone who knew nothing about the series.
Yeah.
The villain was yeah, it was just all cliches.
Yeah. And
Not even like character wise, but just the plot itself.
yeah, and you kind of
mhm.
know where the plot's going when you're like maybe a third in the movie when she finds the second key right off the bat. You know
Well,
exactly where this is
okay,
going.
yeah, so the whole purpose, there are, I believe, six shield daughters, and they're called sirens, which they don't bring up at all. And all sirens
They
have
mention it
a,
once.
at the
Yeah.
very end, yeah, all sirens have a very detailed tattoo going up their left arm. And sirens can only be females, and they have distinct abilities. But they don't talk about it until the end of it, which is weird. You would think she would know she had abilities, or specifically the tattoo you would have seen throughout the show, but they kept that covered up with a jacket, which is really odd. Um, it just all in all did not make sense at all
It also
for
didn't.
people watching or people who played the game and already know that Lilith is um a siren and one of the only ones that can open the vault. Calling Tina that was just weird.
One of the things that didn't doesn't quite make sense now looking back at it, given what you just said, why the older lady, I don't remember her name, the doctor or whatever, didn't
Forget what her
know,
name is.
apparently knew this girl for a long time,
New Lilith?
Lilith. Yeah. And
Well, the thing
apparently
is,
had
the
no
doctor.
idea about the tattoo, had no idea about the prophecy,
Well,
even though she
that's
had been
what's
going
really
over
confusing.
everything,
Because she's supposed to
had
be
no idea about her lineage,
roughly
even
the
though she
same.
knew about him.
Yeah, she's supposed to. Well, with sirens, when a siren gets killed, or the female possessing that power gets killed, its energy moves to a next person. So it just um, they're not actually people born with that bloodline. They're just random women given these abilities.
Hmm, okay.
So that's kind of how it is. Um, but even then, I can never remember. I can't remember what her name is. The doctor or the
Tannis.
archaeologist, Tanis. Thank you. She's supposed to be the same age as Lilith, in roughly in her 30s.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and she's should already know what a siren is because sirens are very well known throughout the galaxy already because they possess supernatural powers. So that whole aspect is really just weird for the show. Um,
Question.
mhm.
As much as I want to play the games, I'm making the executive decision to not, because why do they make the characters so hot? Because I will act unwell if I start playing these games.
Okay, so um, y- um, Lilith and Moxie are probably the two most, I'm trying to think how to word this. Probably the two most popular
But did you see the
characters.
commander?
Yes. Okay, yes, I
the
did.
commander.
Do you remember her name, Zach?
Um,
You talking about the lady with the bowl cut and mullet?
Oh, she didn't look like that at all.
She doesn't.
Just give me one sec.
you're talking about
Commandant Steele,
The one Roland liked, or was
That's the one I'm thinking of. The
supposedly.
commander. Isn't that the commander?
Yeah, but
yeah,
that is not how
so
she looks like in the games.
no, no, it's not. And also, I don't believe they're act together because Roland is with Lilith at the end of the first game and like in between the first and second game. Yeah. So,
Whoa.
and she's also a siren as well. You can
They
see
could
with
have
the
gotten
tattoos.
Margot Robbie. They could have
So,
Yeah.
gotten Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
yeah,
she would have
she's
been good.
also yeah, so yeah. Um,
They
but
should have cast
yeah.
Florence Pugh to play Lilith. All I'm saying,
Well, yeah,
They should have
but
just
she
got
would
somebody
still need the red
younger.
hair.
Should have just gotten
like
somebody
Florence
younger.
Pugh.
Younger than 55. Younger than the AARP card,
Yeah.
Something younger.
It's like Tiny Tina. is a very, very fun character. Very, I'm trying to, I think the best way to like give you an idea of what who these characters are is going on YouTube and finding out like introduction to, um,
Started watching like a timeline video.
yeah. Well, you can do like introduction to Tiny Tina, and it'll show you your first encounter with Tiny Tina in the first, second, and third game. No, just the second and third game. She's not in the first one, I don't believe. It's been so long since I've played the first one.
Her character was
Um,
so annoying. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
yeah, which was really disappointing because she's a very popular character.
She could have been made
Um,
fun, but they made her so annoying.
well, that and there's another character in the games, um, Moxie's two children, which own the catch a ride stations, and they just own all of the, not all of the cars, but most all of the vehicles throughout Pandora. And you don't hear anything about them. You don't hear about what is the archaeologist? He is the lead researcher and like probably the most important person for the vaults throughout the games. And he's the reason why everyone's kind of looking for the vaults. And you don't hear anything about him, which is very odd. So, I mean, they cut out a lot of different important characters that would make sense to put in this for a one-time movie. Um, but still, it was just a train wreck of a show movie. But I mean, the games are
Andrew,
fun. I would much rather recommend you just play the games than watch the movie.
I've heard they're good. I mean, it's been a big IP for a while.
It has. And if either of you do decide, I would 100% play the game with you. I love those games, and the bosses are
Is it
very fun
multiplayer?
and unique. Yes, especially for this game, this movie, I think they should have just stuck with, if they're going to use characters, just stick with the first four characters that they used in the first game. Um, because honestly, they didn't need anything else in this movie. If they wanted to have Tiny Tina in it, then just have Tiny Tina in it as well. Have those four and Tiny Tina.
who are those
Craig's in it
for?
three,
Do you mind me asking?
of course. So it's both Lilith and Roland. Um, Rig and oh, what is their one is pretty much just like Craig, just not a psycho. I can't remember what their names are at the moment. I would have to look them up.
Mm,
Um,
not a true fan confirmed.
yeah, no, I haven't played the games in a while. That and I only remember characters I really like. I only remember the female character. I'm just kidding,
That-
but it's not a
Why do you
lie.
remember Roland then?
I remember Roland because I was playing the game with Clayton. Because Clayton's another huge fan of Borderlands. He's the one that got me into it.
Uh,
And we were playing a campaign with him as Lilith, and I was playing Roland. And Roland's just a fun character to play as because he's very defensive. He sets up turrets and um
mm.
Wasn't
everything.
Tiny Tina's like a Wonderland,
Yeah, they did
like a
Tiny
D and
Tina's
D style
Wonderland.
game?
Yeah, Tiny Tina's Wonderland is a kind of a D&D style game. It's played
I
the
remember
same,
it blowing up online when it came
yeah,
out.
it's played the same way as Borderlands, but the way you build your character is like D&D.
'Cause I saw a lot of like roll features, dice roll features.
Yeah. It's really fun. It when it came out, it actually broke my Xbox and corrupted it, but that's fine. Yeah,
Andrew, did you
that's
ever rank it?
Oh, two.
Two?
yeah,
Okay. I'm the one that
definitely.
ranked it the highest. Ah,
I put it on 1.5 speed at a point just so it could I could get over with
Oh,
it later.
I did it from the very
understandable.
beginning. I did it
Understandable.
from the very beginning with this movie. I just when they introduced Tiny Tina and she was in the lab, I'm like, no, I just can't.
No.
I can't. It's just so disappointing.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next week when we watch the movie Reagan, and we'll be reviewing that one. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on Galactic Reviews.